Hi guys, and welcome back to a new episode with me, the Omega Enthusiast. This will be the final episode that I will produce in 2020. It has been a very difficult year for many people around the globe and will not be forgotten in our lifetime. For today's episode, I hope to entertain you guys with a very special piece. So let us get started. On this episode, I have a Nuo stock mid-1950s Omega Constellation watch. I have owned this watch for a while. You may have seen a glimpse of it in my past video from time to time. Since the new year is around the corner, let me take this opportunity to show you guys this Nuo stock vintage Constellation watch under the case model CK2852. Normally known as the third generation Omega Constellation watch, but of course there's also a CK2887, which is a third generation Constellation as well, but that is a very rare model which I will save for a future video. The first thing to look at is the dial. There are several dial types and dial tone for this case model. You have the regular plain dial and you have the pie pan type dial. Within these two types of dial, they may exist with and without the texture finish. Texture finish refers to the waffle or honeycomb finish on the dial, like on this watch. The full dial may have this texture, or the texture may only be within the minute track or on the outside of the minute track. The dial exists with a few different hour index types. I am unsure what people refer this index type on this constellation, but I refer it to a French fries or popcorn box. Notice how on the base of each hour index there is a dot instead of a dash, which I'll show you what I mean by dash in a short bit. This tells you that this watch is a 1955 or early 1956 CK2852 Constellation, since it has that dot. When this dot gets replaced by a dash, this CK2852 will date to later 1956 to 1959. And depending on the dial index type, below or in between the 6 o'clock index, you may see the word Swiss or Swiss made. Below the word automatic is chronometer and is spelled with RE instead of ER. The next thing to review is the case of this model. CK2852 comes in a 3-piece case where the bezel can be removed and the case back can be popped open. This case will exist in full steel, two-tone, and in 14 or 18K solid gold. Regardless of what the case material is made of, the case back medallion is always in solid gold. On the two-tone version, the bezel will also be made of solid gold and the lugs are gold capped. The full steel or two-tone version will have easy spring bar release hole on the lugs, whereas the solid gold version will not have these holes on their lugs. Examining the unpolished bezel, you will see that there is a bevel. Majority of the time, this bevel will not show or is very fade on the gold bezel. It could be the cause of machine polish or a lot of hand polishing with the polishing cloth over the years. The 8th star and the case back medallion represent 8 precision record that Omega set at Kew Teddington and the Geneva Observatory during the mid-20th century. As I have mentioned in the past, buying a constellation with a faded case back medallion star is better than one with a couple star polished away. A case back with missing star will affect the value of the watch quite a bit. So take that into consideration the next time you buy a constellation watch. There are 2 types of crown that comes with this case model. You have the 10-sided crown or the clover type crown, which is something like this. The case dimension of this watch measures 35 millimeters across, excluding the crown, by 42 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. Case thickness is 8.2 millimeters, excluding the crystal, and by 11.3 millimeters thick if you include the correct original crystal. The crown is 5 millimeter wide and 3 millimeter thick. The lug width on this watch is 18 millimeters. The crystal type is a low dome acrylic crystal with the metal tension ring and has the sign Omega logo in the center. On the case back, you will see a case back gold medallion in the center. Above will be the word Constellation and below will be the word waterproof. Since it is a snap-on case back, on the opposite side of the crown there is a small open gap to allow the case opening knife to slide in between in order to pop open the case back. Inside the case back, you will find the case model number and the moisture protection O-ring rubber gasket. Next, it is time to review the movement that is inside this watch. Omega 2852 will come with the following two movement caliber: a chronometer 19 or 20 joules caliber 501 automatic movement, or a 24 joules caliber 505 automatic movement. Make sure that their automatic weights are signed, adjusted fire position, and temperature. Since the dial hour index has a dot instead of a dash, the movement inside this 2852 must be a caliber 501. But regardless of which caliber is inside this watch, it will be just as precise when the service job is done correctly. For the movement to securely sit in place, there are two case clamps and case clamp screw. It is quite common for the case clamp to break. If your watch requires a new case clamp screws, make sure to use the correct one, or else the head of the screw will be too high and the automatic weight will rub against it. The original leather strap and buckle are original to this watch. Many Constellation and Seamaster will come with this type of strap during the 1950s. This case model will come with the 3x2 combination beads of rice bracelet as well. 3x2 combination represent the pattern of the beads. Beads of rice can also be called BOR bracelet for short. The correct original box for this case model will look something like this. And this is how the watch will look on my wrist. That's the end of this video. If you guys enjoy watching it, please support the channel by hitting on that thumbs up button below, and do not forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on any of my future episodes. If you like my work, you can also support me on Patreon. If you have any question or comment, please leave them in the comment section below. My website and Instagram link are also in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Before that, I wish you guys a happy new year. Cheers.